It never matters how long it takes you. That is the title of the Any Advice message that I have today that I received from Wilhelm. And what that means is it never matters how long it takes you to accept your role in the world, to accept your mission, to accept your purpose. And you might be feeling that today because there's an energetic shift that has happened that could cause you to awaken to who you are, which is why you would be in the world at this time. We may think that things are happening accidentally in our lives and in the world, and we discover that they are not. Everything is energy, and over time we figure out different ways of utilizing that energy in our lives to understand ourselves and our world. And sometimes we will move through really difficult, challenging times in our life to understand that, to begin to understand it. What I'm saying is that every single human is going to go through some fear, doubt, or something that doesn't allow them to fully embrace who they could become. That's called life, and that is what we're each doing right now. But it seems really different at this time. That's not accidental either. That means that you're alive to do something wonderful. Now, that may not make sense, but if you look at your life and go back and see everything that you've been through and everything you've uncovered, everything you've learned, that was part of the evolution that we're all moving through. And when you start to understand it and own it, then you help evolution not only for yourself, but for all others. And that's what I've discovered that Wilhelm has given to all of us. They gave us a way to understand our lives in an entirely new way and to understand the world. Because what they said is that every single person is born with worth and value, and all they have to do is find it, uncover it, because it's always within them. But what happens is it gets covered over with other information that we've all inherited that we keep carrying on. And that's how everything changes. But that's how evolution occurs as well. We can't make choices as a human being unless we have something else to look at to compare. And we can't do new things unless someone comes in and shows us what that is. That's how we pass on consciousness or information from generation to generation. We come to discover that information is carried in the ethers. I had to just look that up, because I heard that. I heard Napoleon Hill talk about it, and I go, I know that's what Wilhelm has been giving me, this understanding. But when I go to look it up, it was from Aristotle. That's as far back as we can go. But it's like the connection of everything that is, the connection of all things. And every person has some element of that. But what we have are generations and what, as Wilhelm says, eons of time where we didn't understand it. And so my life was meant to bring in a new understanding. And that didn't make sense to me. Like, your journey might not have made sense to you, but I know that you have it. And if you're not feeling wonderful and alive and abundant and prosperous, you probably hadn't gotten there yet. But that's okay. That's why it never matters. It just matters when you decide to do it. For me, that's today. 2 weeks before my 75th birthday. So it never matters how long, as long as you do it. But this was a little different for me, but it's different for you as well, because you're meant to do something new. The world can't evolve unless we decide that we're going to break through barriers of what we thought could happen. And I'll tell you this, because in 1989, when I sat down to start writing, just receiving Wilhelm, there was nothing that I thought it was going to be for anyone else. It was for me. I thought, I'm going to just do this, and it was healing and taking me through my life. I thought, it's just for me. No, it was something else. And now I understand why I suffered so much, why I struggled, why I went through so much. I couldn't have brought in this work unless I understood how you can get over it, unless I understood that you could heal anything if you came into alignment with who you are, that you could manifest anything if you came into alignment of the energies of your unique DNA and your unique birth chart, because everyone has that. Now, I didn't know I was doing that, just like you don't know what you're doing. But what it's turned into was a system that can take any person to understanding who they are in their right place in this world. and it's guaranteed because it's proven, it's verified, it's worked. And that's what I wanted to give to everyone, because this is why I am changing my life at this moment, because I must finish this work, because it's the most consequential discovery in humankind. Because, see, when we see everything that's happening in our lives and in the world, we think there's no way to change it. Yeah, there is. Wilhelm said we gave it to you. I couldn't believe it either, so I understand why you couldn't have believed it, because it's only in our consciousness, and our consciousness is stuck a lot of the times. If we haven't seen something that's happened, we can't believe that it's possible. That's cognitive dissonance again, because we stay stuck. And then the other irony of it is that we think that if we stay stuck where we are, something's going to change, and it never happens, because we must go into the unknown of us and the unknown of our world. And that's the thing that might frighten us the most. It did for me. But then that's why I had to live the life that I did, and why I needed to move through the fear and understand it so I could help others, which is what you're supposed to do with your life as well. That's what we're all meant to do. But as you go to the site, you'll see a few things, and then I did something else. Wilhelm has given us all this information, and if you live in the United States, you might think, what's going on there? Well, that was all explained as well. And it's, again, energetic changes, things that we don't understand completely, generational changes, because, again, that's consciousness. We carry it around, and we decide what we're going to do with it in our lives. So your job is to decide what you're going to do with your life. How important are you going to become? How empowered will you be? I never understood that this work was causing people, was about self-mastery and becoming empowered and ascension and personal development all together. And I couldn't have known it because it's never been done before. So you couldn't have known either. But I'm going to give you some gifts because I want you to understand that you have something within you that's meant to come through and cause your life to be wonderful, and this work can take anyone there, and that's what I'm finishing. You have something that you're meant to do, and if this will serve you, then I invite you to join, because it will take you to your greatness. That's what we're all meant to have. Now, we don't do it all at once, and that's why this was laid out in the way that it was. No one had seen this in this way, so it was kind of challenging to get it, but I'm going to show you something so you'll understand. And it may be exactly what you're feeling today. When you go to the website, advicefortoday.com, I'll leave you a link so you can have it. It says it never matters how long it takes you. And that is the message for today. And then, but I want to go to 2009, because if we think about the quantum field, everything is happening in this moment. This message might make sense for you today. There's energy again and information and knowledge that's carried along energetic lines that we're still figuring out as humans. But I know this is true for me today. Distractions are merely those things upon which you place your attention in order that you might avoid placing that attention somewhere else. We all know those times where we're distracted, and that's because we're afraid that we don't think we can do that thing. And so if we place a distraction there, we can go off and not pay attention to it. I've done it forever, so I do understand it. And then you go to the next year and you'll see, okay, we understand a little bit more now. Nothing or no thing physical holds intrinsic value. And you think about that, because you've placed value on yourself by how much you own, what you have, or you look at others and you think that, and what makes that them any more valuable than you, because like Wilhelm always says, you can't take it with you. So that's not the value that you're seeking. Then you go to the next year. Patience is indeed a virtue, and you would do well to study the meaning of that adage a bit more closely. And when you look at it, you will understand it, because we're using energy. And when you start to study why you're using patience, when you start about doing something, you're actually using your mind to now create something that you want, rather than acting out of a reaction, actually. Anyway, it goes on from there. I just wanted you to have that. But additionally, there is this, the most shocking discovery of our lifetime. Now, I wanted people to understand this work because it took a while for me to understand it, because I didn't know. And when we discover something new, we can't know it as we're discovering it or why it's being built. And so, but this will give you a little bit more. Now, everything in the universe is energy. And this talks about some energetic changes in astrological or astronomical. I've never studied any of that or the sciences. However, what you'll see, this is why this is the first time this has ever occurred. Wilhelm was giving me information that was aligned to the energies that were available, that were happening at certain times as things were changing, which could only explain why I was experiencing healing, because again, that's energetic alignment. But then what occurred, I found that they were giving me these messages every single day for these 36 years in an aligned way that I could not have understood then. But it's turned into this complete work that can guide anyone to their magnificence, because it's about consciousness. Doesn't matter how old you are, what you've done, haven't done, there's always more. And I'm still doing so much more because I haven't ingested or absorbed all of this. But I just wanted you to see everything that it is. But I did something else because, again, as I said, in the US, we're thinking this is really terrible. No, it's for you. You have a role in what's going on in the world, but the United States is what's leading the way, so to speak, as Wilhelm said, in the restructuring. And so, but you're doing the same thing because everything is energy. It doesn't matter where you are. But when you understand the changes, the generational changes that are occurring and why, then you live your life in a much more um, aligned, happier, prosperous, more abundant way. Because again, it's all energy. And that's what I'm putting out, because I'm going to guide as many people to that place as possible. But I just want you to have this document, and I'll give you a link to that. But this is what it. And no matter where you live, you will get a lot out of this. It's just talking about your role in the transformation of the planet, because that is your role, you embodying yourself. But this will give you a little greater understanding of why it seems so chaotic in the US and everything that's happening. Um, but this is it. In 2020, during a period of unprecedented global upheaval, a series of channeled messages from Wilhelm revealed the deeper spiritual context behind America's transformation. These communications identified the tensions of that year and those continuing through 2025, not as random crises, but as necessary catalysts for evolutionary growth, both individual and collective. There's no one person creating our world, we're all doing it. But as you read this document, it will help you understand what was happening, your role, why it's been so stressful, but what you can do to help it. And that's by becoming who you're meant to be. And that's what this is. So it never matters how long it takes you. Enjoy this document. Please check out all of the work. If it's your first time here at this channel, please subscribe, share it with others. I will be giving you so much more. There will be a gift for you, which is another little ebook that you can work on, again, because everything is about consciousness. And if you do it consistently, you evolve and change and become your greatest self. See you soon.